Welcome to Autographers Anonymous, a place where we discuss our addiction to the greatest hobby in the world. Let's go around the very tiny room.
I'm Chasing Ink, and I have the best Sharpie for TTM or for IP autographs right there.
Or TTMs, you can send
Yeah,
Sharpie.
TTMs, yeah.
And I'm Zane Savage, and welcome to our live Q&A. I wasn't even clever. I'm just lazy on my part to write a line like that. But we're going to start off with new returns as always. So I guess we'll start with Chase.
I don't see anybody else around other than you. So, all right, I got a very small. I got two TTMs, and the rest are IP. TTMs I got today, or not today, this weekend actually. Bill Fahey. Got two from him, and these took a little over 800 days. It's like 820 something days, I believe. So they were out for a while. And I got Gene Nelson. He did a 3 of 3 for me.
He's got the same face, and every one of them is just like,
yeah. He's got I'm gonna be mean face,
the exact same face.
Because you can't smile and
smile on a baseball card. Smile on a baseball card.
And then let's see, I go to minor league games, the Rough Riders, and got some IP. Like in the intro, I was using this pen from Troy, their TTM autographs, and ended up getting 73 autographs that one night. But I'm not going to show them all, so don't worry.
Every single one of them.
We probably have time today.
We got to fill this. We got to have some filler this episode.
Their pitching coach is Greg Hibbard. So I got some from him. He's a great guy. It signs anything you bring up there. So, and then they're the minor league team for the Rangers, and their Rangers backup catcher Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was there doing some rehab.
Again?
Do what?
What's his last name again?
Kiner-Falefa.
You went by it fast, so I knew you were uncomfortable.
Well,
I had to give you a little help for it.
Here's the other card. You can.
Oh my gosh, Kiner-Falafel. Oh. You're right.
So, yeah, we got 7 from him. He was a great guy. He signed before and after the game.
Just a reminder, guys, you can type in chat and we'll see your chats. This is a live Q&A episode. So feel free to pipe in and we'll talk to you. I promise. And it'll be in the podcast. Amazing. Go ahead, Chase.
No, the last one here is Rangers prospect Jonathan Hernandez. Got a few from him as well. So, and then the rest of them were all just minor league guys nobody's ever heard of. So, except for their family. So I'll send it over to you.
They're gonna make it to the majors one day.
Hey, a lot of them have already made it up to this year.
Well, yeah. Wait, is it AAA?
This is AA.
AA, okay. But they pipe them too fast.
They're doing so great this year that they the AA team is half there now.
Yeah. Well, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Well, I got nothing. Well, actually, I lied. I do have a really cool piece. It cost me $100. Not an autograph, of course, because why would I bring an autograph to an autograph show? That'd be crazy. It is a trading card, which I know a lot of you guys are into, and this is for Fabric Fobs. And just holding it is kind of weird because it's got a really cool relic in it. It is a piece of Daenerys Targaryen's cape.
Oh, nice.
Game of Thrones. So,
does it say what season it is?
It's the one where she's sitting on the throne, but not the Game of Thrones. Her little throne she had built by the slave people or whatever. But yeah, so cost me $100. I'll be chopping it up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. You gonna rip that one up?
I mean, that's why I bought it. That's something cool I got in. So that's my return.
So how many fabric fobs can you get out of that one piece?
I'm gonna try 3. Dinklage, I got one from Dinklage, and the fabric was so thick that you can't actually put it in there. So I have to tear it fabric by fabric and make it a mixed fabric fob. So it's like just a bunch of strands of the fabric mixed together, so it'll actually fit. So I hate when that happens because you're kind of ruining the integrity of the piece, but you got to do what you got to do to fit it in there. So that one looks like it will smash down and it'll be fine. So probably 3. Okay, guys. Let's move on, and I'm gonna do a TTM tool review on the Q&A episode. Look at that. And I want to talk about this little doohickey right here. And I've showed one of these off before, but it's a different kind, and it's actually this one's better than the one I used to have. And the name for this is a QZ Teleelectronic 60X LED microscope. Wow,
It's a long name.
And this is actually built for currency detecting, because if it was just for magnification, it wouldn't have this setting, which is black light, because that's for the currency. But you can also turn it to normal light like this, and you hook it to your phone. And this is, like I said, 60X. And the one I showed you guys before was only a 30X. So I think this will help me a lot on identification, especially like stuff that's suspected printed. This will pick up dot printing really easy.
The black light can show you variances in ink too, if it's
that's true.
2 different pens or anything. So
yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right. Anyways, again, this is called the QZ Teleelectronic 60X LED microscope, and it can be found on Amazon. John, where is everybody else? Well, this is a short notice that we're being on Facebook, so I mean that's probably why. But we sent a message out through all of our platforms, so it should spread over the show. We'll see. But John and Dennis, you guys feel free to come up with some questions, because we're going to need you here in a bit. This is a Q&A show. We're relying on some questions to be answered, so y'all going to get on that. So yeah, go pick this up on Amazon. I believe it was $8. So if you got $8 blowing a hole in your pocket, this is something pretty good to spend it on. And we're gonna move on to our topic, which is Q&A, guys. So this is where you're supposed to come in and actually ask us questions so we can answer them. So feel free to do that. But until then, I guess Chase, how was your weekend?
It was all right. I'm actually going to the game tomorrow night, so hopefully I won't be getting 73 autographs again, just because I don't have that many cards
from the stadium after you got 73 autographs.
Oh no.
Don't let that guy back in. He's just in here for autographs.
See, the thing is, for the most part of them, I only got like 3 or 4. I don't get a whole lot from each player.
Right.
Like with the Isaiah, I got him before and after the game, so it kind of split it up. But yeah, there's some guys out there that tend to try and ruin it, because they'll have like 20 or 30 on like a big, like I think they use like the big.
They even do that. Team. They even do that in minor league baseball too.
Yeah, no, this is what this is. Yeah.
That's crazy. I thought that was more of a celebrity thing. Like, I didn't know they actually did that at minor league games too. That's crazy.
Well, they've got like let me.
We got a guy in the chat here named Michael Rhodes, and he has a question. I have a question for you, Michael. No, I'm kidding. He says, "Who is a big time celebrity?" Michael, by the way, is a co-host of ours. He's chipping in chat to boost the Q&A show. People, Q&A. We need the Q's to give you the A. And Mike asks, "Who is a big time celebrity that you just do not see a lot of autographs of in the market?" I would say Christopher Walken is the biggest one I can think of. I actually had a Walken back in the day. It was signed at a play back in the 70s or something like that, 70s or 60s maybe. But I do not see Watkins hardly at all. He seems like a very recluse man. I've actually seen interviews where he talks about like not even having like a phone or the internet. Like he's very old school. So that's one I can think of. Tom Cruise is another one. Seems very kind of recluse outside of shooting films. I guess he would be at premieres and stuff, but I'd say he's probably hard to get. You guys, you got anything, Chase?
No, definitely Walken. I don't think I've ever seen any real ones of him. So yeah.
Hey, Mr. Robert Watson. What's up, man? How's it's their resident Harry Potter fan in the house from back in the day. Again, guys, this is a Q&A episode, so get those questions down below and we'll answer them live on the show. That's what this is about. Get it done. Trying to think of some more. The more reclusive celebrities that don't really go out in public. Trying to think of any more, but why is Michael not on the show? Actually, there's a lot of reasons. Certain people aren't on the show. Troy just went to the Nationals, so he's wiped, and I think just getting in. So we wouldn't want him to have to do a show on that short of notice. And Mike is away right now, so he can't do it. And Andy's got some stuff, personal stuff, but he should be back on some episodes coming up soon. Stuff happens. That's part of the show. That's why we have so many co-hosts that even when so many are gone, we can fill in a hole with a Q&A show where you can ask your questions live on Facebook. So that's kind of what's going on. But anyway, Jeff Jones has become a bit of a recluse. Yeah, but he's signed TTM for me. Jeffrey Jones, of course, the actor that was famous from Ferris Bueller.
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah, I got a Howard the Duck signed photo from him, TTM.
Right. And I found his address through a database. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, very public database that's usually not used for TTMing. And I found his address through that, and he signed all my stuff. So I felt a little weird about that one, but he's definitely recluse, but not impossible. And I wouldn't say he's a big name. Mike's question.
No.
So
he's a medium name, maybe.
Yeah, he's like a mediocre.
Or definitely like a lower now, but he at one time he was kind of up there.
He was on top of his game. He actually, after the whole thing happened, the thing. But yeah, he was on Deadwood and several other shows. Yeah. So it wasn't like his career was totally over, but he wasn't getting the roles he used to. Let's see. So Mike has another question. Again, people watching, send your questions. Mike gets it. He's from the show. And for in-season sports, better to send to the station or the practice facility. That's all you, Chase, because I've never actually done that stuff.
I'm not sure what's by station. Usually whenever I send TTM in season, I send to the stadium.
I bet that's what he meant, stadium. I bet it was spelled.
Yeah, I send it straight to the stadium.
I don't think it makes a difference. I think it probably ends up in the same spot.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll get lucky, and one time somebody will see it and send it somewhere else. I don't know. But I'd say most of that stuff gets filtered to the same spot. So,
yeah, I know some stadiums you'll have like an actual address for the stadium, and then some will have like a P.O. box. I always send it straight to the stadium.
Yeah, I agree. And that's obviously a lot harder nowadays than back in the day.
Yeah, with the exception, of course, of like spring training, and then I send it to the spring training stadium.
Spring training is your best bet on the bigger names for sure, because of all the policies that certain clubs have implemented when it comes to signing, or in their case, not signing. So
now, if it is somebody who's not on the 40-man roster, you might have to do a little bit of digging, because you might not send it to the actual stadium that they play the games at, because if they're minor league players, they probably won't ever go to that stadium. You have to send it to the facility.
Al asks, how many TTM letters do you think you could crank out in an hour? Ooh, that's a good question.
Handwriting or form letter?
I'm assuming form letters, because handwriting, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Back in my day, I'd have a whole system set up with printing out letters and all that stuff. If you're including personalization of the letters, which is always important to do in a form letter, guys. I mean, you don't want to go for numbers and just send the same form letter out. So do a little personalization. It's a good thing to do. Anyways, if you include that, okay, so I'm typing my personalization, I'm printing it off, I'm signing it. I mean, maybe 5 minutes each letter. So
Stuff in an envelope,
12?
fold it, stuff it, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so like 12 maybe for me. That's probably about back in the day what I would do. If you're not doing a personalization, I mean, you're talking, you could probably crank out 50. But if you're personalizing now, if you're handwriting, I mean, I could probably maybe handwrite 5 in an hour, because I actually put thought into handwritten letters, which I probably shouldn't. If I'm doing a handwritten letter, I should probably do a form letter, but I usually actually plan out every single line. So maybe 5.
Well, I sent out 100 to spring training this year, just because that's the most I've ever sent. I just wanted to try it one time. I got some stamps for Christmas. I had been saving up, and yeah, even though if you print them all out, address, you still got to handwrite the addresses. I mean, I did the return envelopes. I did run them through my printer.
Right.
But I mean, that's the same address on all of them coming back to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
John asks, what are our favorite places to research addresses you can't find on Star Tiger? So everybody give up their private address sources. No, I mean, I'll give you a few that are obvious. Like there's websites like 411.com. I think it's 411. Let me make sure that's right. I don't want to send you to some weird site. Let's see. Yeah, 411.com is one that I used a lot back in the day. Actually, it looks like a totally different site now from back when I used it. Spokio was one, if you had a subscription, was really good. Again, I don't know how good they are nowadays, because I haven't done private address research in a while. But there's also other places you can find addresses. I don't know if I want to give up certain sources, but there's certain lists that other people use for other purposes, that you can use for your purposes of TDMing. I'll leave it at that. There's other professions that use lists of addresses that you can buy or find that you can use for TTMing. I'll stop there. Then there's also public filings. So I think California has certain counties and stuff that require public filings for housing. So when you buy a house, like it's public, and you can find that information in certain places online when somebody buys a new house. So that's another way to do it. Can't give you an exact website there because they're usually on like weird websites, like not like creepy or anything, just like very official websites. But I believe it's because it needs to be public information due to some law. That's what I'm guessing. If it's not because of that, then they're just putting information out there that's I don't know why they would. And it's not celebrities. It's like everybody that lives in that neighborhood who buys a house. They have a listing for everybody. And I think in some cases it shows what they bought it for. And if you go to Spokio and some of those other sites, they pull information from those public filings to fill in information on their website. So you can see how some of these things pull from others. But white pages, yeah, John uses white pages. That's another good one. Another trick you can use, guys. Yeah, Michael says public records. So court filings is another one. You can find some court filings online, and I believe the address in some cases are required in court filings. Especially if it's like the property is part of the court filing. That's definitely going to be in there. But that's a good rundown right there, because I like, me and Mike used to run private address websites, so that's not all of our sources, but that's a good amounts that you guys can work with. So
Another good one that I use is like playbill.com for
no,
like.
don't tell them about that. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
it's just it's a you don't pay for anything. It just tells you what all kind of plays are going on, like in off of Broadway and stuff. So you can find addresses that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're looking for a big star, and they do sometimes do Broadway shows, that's definitely a good way to get them. Is it send to them while they're on Broadway. But in the last since we've been back doing it, and have stopped doing it, I've seen a lot of people get a lot of bad returns from plays them where they want money basically for playbills, and the big celebrities won't sign anything. So they've caught on, I think, on the playbill circuit. Mike asks, "What's the most times you've sent to one person and not gotten a success?" That would be the shoot. What is? I think it's the CEO of Pier 1. I needed him from My America. No, it was the president of MGM Studios back in the 80s. That's who it was. And because the guy from Pier 1 actually wrote me back. It's the president of MGM Studios during the 80s. He was in My America project. He was the last famous person I needed, and I needed a teacher who would not respond to anything I sent. But he was one that I knew he was getting my stuff, and he just would not sign to me. I probably sent 6 or 7 to him. I'm sure there's a restraining order out there somewhere for me, but he was the last one out of 150 signatures, or one of the last 2 out of 150 signatures that I needed, and he just would not respond. So,
I'd have to say Al Kaline.
Oh yeah,
he's the one that I sent to him. I know 4 times, and every time I've gotten my stuff back not signed, and everybody else is getting them back. I'm going to try it again. Maybe I should give them to Mike and have him send them for me.
Go for it and say, please. Hey, if I tell you what, say, please give me your crappy version signature. I'll take that, and maybe he'll laugh at it and give it to you, because like that's what he gave me back in the day. I was collecting the Topps fan favorites cards, and I needed like 2 signed, and he gave me his like, he didn't even put an L. It was just an A, and then the K, and it was like just straight out, like nothing. So I was like, this is weird. Like I could tell it was his signature, but like he was trying to devalue it. What we talk about sometimes on the show, maybe like give a free signature and a paid signature. But at the time, I was not happy, because like I'm like, nobody's going to think this is real. This looks like garbage.
Yeah.
So maybe ask for that, and he'll give you the free signature. Like if you bring that up, maybe he'll be like, "Oh, this guy remembers when I gave out crappy signatures, so I'm going to go ahead and sign his stuff." Or maybe he thinks, "Man, this guy's probably wrote to me a lot. I'm not going to sign anything." John says, "Sorry, we're falling a little behind in chat here, guys, which is a good problem to have." John says, "Sometimes I often cross-reference the spouse's name to verify you have the right address. That's another trick you can use, yes, when you're using public databases." Al says, "Usually if you send to a celebrity themselves at a Broadway show, they'll sign. If you send it for a cast sign playbill, you'll get the donation request for Broadway Cares." Okay, so he's saying if you send to the actual person like photos to get signed, you'll get it back. But if you send for the free playbill that you used to get, they usually ask for donations now. So, John asks, how many successes did you get from the 100 spring training addresses?
I'm setting at 43 right now. So my goal is 50%, but I'm still holding out, because a lot of players, or some players, will wait till after the end of the season. So you'll start getting, in like December, you'll start getting some coming in. So I'm still holding out. Actually, I think the last show I had one that I got back from spring training. So they're still slowly coming in, but I'm sitting at 43 right now. And I used Troy's hot list for a lot of them. So
Yeah, check out Troy's hot list on ttmautograph.com. We got your back, Troy. You're promoting you even though you're
yeah,
not
I'm promoting you like crazy. Even here.
Yeah, this is the TTM Autograph show, I guess. John also says, doesn't Kaline respond much better with money? Yes, he does, but we're cheap.
Well, no, I've sent cash with a baseball.
He just hates Chase.
First, I sent money order with a baseball. It came back not signed. Sent cash with a baseball, didn't get signed. Then I sent cash with a baseball with a card, and it came back not signed. And I did send him a card without anything too. That was first, but
yeah, he just hates Chase.
Yeah, it doesn't like me. I'll be sending from a different address this time, so we'll see.
I was gonna say you should probably try sending from a different address. He maybe has you on a database. I know some celebrities do database signatures. That's kind of an old school thing, but I'm sure it still happens, especially some of the old school guys.
After the second time with the baseball, people started reporting that he won't sign baseballs unless it's like at a paid show or convention. So then I went to doing the card again, but I guess maybe I didn't send him enough money. I don't know. So
Rhodesy says, why do you think JSA opinion increases the value of an autograph so much? Because people love documents. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They like fancy pieces of paper that secures them and saying, hey, this is authentic. And as much as I agree with authentication and I think it's important, but I think it's way too expensive. Me and Chase were just talking about this before the show. I think it's way overpriced. I think in some cases it's smart to do, but especially like up and coming people.
Because you get them
cheap.
If you do a mass like through what Garrick does with Card Cutter, you can get some from about $10 to $15 a card.
Right.
But then you get into the way bigger names, and you're talking about hundreds.
And I think personally, if you're a collector, certification should be meant for getting rid of the item. So if you're worried about the value of the item whenever you're going to try to sell it, certification helps that like 100%. Like that's great to have certification. Again, you have to do a cost analysis though, because it costs so much to get stuff certified sometimes, especially if you're doing one item. It may not be worth it to actually get it certified, the profit you would get in selling the item, especially if it's an obvious authentic autograph, like crosses all the T's, dots all the I's. In that case, if it's the price is going to be like $100, like me and Chase were talking about earlier, there's something we're talking about that's going to be $100 to certify, and it's only going to boost the value $100. I don't know. But yeah, I think if you're doing a personal collection, I don't even worry about certification. Like I don't certify anything. Like I use my my knowledge of what's in my collection. And actually when it comes to selling items, I'm more right now about flipping stuff through. So I don't have the time to sit and wait for something to get certified or try to boost the value through certification. I'd rather pass on that deal to the customer where they can get it at a lower price. I can flip it faster. It's just not in my business model. So I know it works for certain places, but for collectors, personal collectors, I don't think it works. And for my business model personally of trying to flip autographs fast, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, because if you send a PSA, I'm not sure about JSA, but I know a PSA, I would say a minimum of 2 months turnaround. Sometimes longer than that, depending on how many you're sending and how much, how many other people are sending out. If they're doing like a special or something like that, you're looking at least 2-3 months, sometimes longer.
Not to mention we've talked about before, IP stuff getting turned down, PSA certifying known preprints. There's several examples of that out there, and JSA. So it's not even if you have something authentic, it's not guaranteed you're going to get that back, and then you're throwing money down the drain.
Yeah, we were showing examples of PSA certified Bob Doles.
Yeah, exactly. We just talked about Bob Dole, and all of us agree that they're secretarial, yet PSA has certified a heck of a
They
lot of them.
certify his secretary signed it.
Exactly. John says that's quite good with current players. I'm not sure. Maybe spring training. He's
Yeah,
talking
the spring training.
about. He said he's had a lot better luck with them than you. So John's got you beat. He's better than you, Chase.
Yeah, it's okay. I
And
did. I went out on a limb and sent out to some that were a little harder, and then some of them that I know of got traded. Like I sent it, and then like in spring training they got traded or released. So who knows if they ever come back or not.
John also says it's a mental thing with naive consumers when it comes to PSA stuff. I to a certain extent, yes, but it's kind of a hobby. What's the word for it? Standard, a hobby standard. So some people some people have a total obsession with PSA stuff, and some people don't. And I agree with the people that don't, but I'm not going to fault the people that do. I think they overprice their grading. I think give me a Mickey Mantle autograph for an hour, and you're going to give me $100 to tell if it's real or not. Like, that's a great deal. Like, I mean, I know they have machinery there that looks into it and stuff a little further than we can do with our little $8 microscopes. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it goes both ways. I don't fault the people that use it, but personally, I don't use it. So need more questions, guys. Come on, we hit the end of the questions. Come on, we gotta fill this time. I like this Q&A episode, though. I think it's working out pretty well here on Facebook. But yeah, we'll be back with a lot of the gang in 2 weeks. We just had a bunch of them get knocked down this week. And Stacy, we're still trying to find Stacy. I don't know where the heck he is.
Yeah, that's for the Q&A. Where's Stacy?
Where's Stacy? So it's always in the comments. Like, where's Stacy?
Where's Henry S? I would think he would be on here.
Yeah, well, Henry, he might be over on Twitch, expecting us to be on Twitch.
Still watching it on YouTube.
Yeah, a lot of people do just watch it on YouTube, and that's fine. But I figured this Facebook, we have about 1,000 likes on Facebook, so getting that out there to 1,000 people is always a plus. You give us a topic, okay? I mean, we do every week when we do our giveaways. Rhodes says, is autograph collecting a hobby or a business now? Does anyone collect anymore? I think it's a mix of both. I mean, I think maybe if you're a kid, it can be a hobby. But I see even if a kid is 12 years old, I see kids like 12, 13 years old on Facebook all the time doing deals in groups. So I think it's hard to stay away from the money side. I mean, money pretty much drives everything we do in this world. So there's obvious money behind autograph collecting, and that's always going to be there from now until the end of time. So I think they're intertwined, and they're not going to be separated ever. Like just like baseball cards, you hear the old stories about people growing up and putting 1952 manuals in their bike spokes and all that stuff. They had fun with the cards back then. They weren't worth anything. They were just like extra things you got with gum sometimes. And now you buy a pack of baseball cards, you want to get a hit, and you're not sticking jack crap in your spokes of your bike. You're not tearing up the cards. You're keeping the cards. You're collecting the cards. That started in the late 80s, late 70s, early 80s. That idea of, these are worth money. And ever since that happened, that created the baseball card shows, which created the Comic-Cons, which turned out to be basic autograph shows. It's all intertwined. From that big boom from the trading cards, I think that's when stuff started becoming more of a business than a hobby, or at least intertwined. So it's both.
Yeah, I collect. I mean, I collect what I like, so it's for my collection, but I also collect in a way where whenever I'm gone and it goes to my kids, if they have no interest, they can sell it if they want.
Right.
Like, I try, you know, to collect, like if I'm going to get like somebody signed whatever, not getting it personalized. That way, it's in my collection. It's great, but later down the road, if it needs to be sold, it can easily be flipped that way.
Right.
But yeah, I look at it. I collect what I like. So
A lot of people are in that boat. They collect what they like, and it's also an investment. It's there if you need it. And that's pretty much what John said. He collects while knowing it's a business. Does age factor into who you write to? So I guess this could go both ways. If it's a kid, do you write your letter differently? If it's Kirk Douglas, who's like 125 years old, do you write differently, like big letters so they can see? like,
oh, you mean physically right? I thought you were talking about like you want to send to the older people first, get them before they.
You could actually interpret it that way too. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah,
I know.
so
Year before last, I went through I started noticing a lot of the All American girls, the original girl baseball players with like League of Their Own was based off of, were starting to pass away. So I made that kind of the top focus of my collection, is to just to send out to as many of them as I could, and I got a pretty good collection now of them. Those ladies love getting mail, and most of them sent extra stuff back, like cards or pictures or stories of their times. I've got a couple of them that had like printouts of stuff. Probably they send to everybody, but it was kind of like a little biography, just extra stuff that they sent.
Yeah, I mean, like we always, whenever people get in the hobby, we talk about what should you do when you get in the hobby? Who should you write to? That's the big question everybody has. Who should I write to? I'm new to this. Like, I always say, write to the old people that sign really well. Like, go to Star Tiger and find who's signing, and as long as you know who they are and you like their work, write to them. One that a lot of people probably regret not writing a lot to is James Earl Jones, who signed every single thing you sent for years and years and years, and now doesn't sign anything. And his stuff's gone up in value quite a bit because he stopped signing. So, right to those old people that are getting up there in age, because you don't know when they're going to stop signing. And when it comes to younger people, I've never really wrote to somebody that was a younger person. We had Addie Miller, who was in Walking Dead, on our old podcast, and we went mostly contacting through her mother to set things up. So I guess fan mail would be monitored by. I'm hoping a kid would have their fan mail monitored by their parents. So maybe throw some stuff in there for the parents. Maybe saying you did a really good job teaching your kid. I don't know. I don't know what to write in the kid letter. I've never wrote one before. Have you ever wrote to like a kid actor, Chase?
I don't know, remember how old she is, but just earlier this year, I wrote to Katana Turnbull, who was Carmelita Splatz in the series Unfortunate Events off of Netflix. I think she's like 10, 11, 12, something like that, 13 at the most. And I wrote via the agency.
Just
but
a
I wrote,
letter.
yeah, I wrote just,
letter. Yeah, that's probably the best way to go.
About your role and all that, so.
Yeah, I'd say they probably want most of that stuff to go through the. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the agency would probably be the safest way to go because they probably vet everything through that. So, probably a normal form letter would be fine. Again, I've never wrote to anybody like that. I've always wrote to baseball players or Hollywood stars. So, all right. So we're falling behind again. The questions. We'll get back on track here. The big Hitler question here from Al. If you had a chance to buy a Hitler autograph at a good price, would you? Heck yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think every one of us would. I mean, it's a piece of history. It's an investment.
Probably wouldn't stay in my house. So it'd have to be like in a safe deposit box or something.
Yeah, because I mean, you have to insure it. Like, yeah, that would be a giant piece of history that like you might be able to buy a house with, down the line. So that's how I would look at it. It's like, okay, this is only going to go up in price, so I'm just going to buy it and hold on to it. I think all of our answers would be the same on that. And then Mike says, "Is there an autograph you would pass on getting, something you don't want in your collection?" Oh, the serial killer question. I don't know. Maybe, gosh,
I
I don't know.
I would be nervous about sending to a serial killer. I mean, maybe get a PO box or something first. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're writing to them, you definitely don't want to use your real address. Maybe use a fake name. But having the autograph in my collection, I wouldn't mind that. Oh, I got a good one. I got one I would throw out no matter, like, easily, because I wouldn't want it in my collection because it's not worth jack, and that's Jared Fogle. So like I actually had it. I think I sold it back in the day, but if I still had it in my collection,
this Subway guy.
yeah, the Subway guy, the child predator guy. So like if I had that still in my collection, I would not hesitate to throw it out because he's not worth anything. Like he's just a worthless human being, and his autograph is worthless. So there's really no reason to have it in my collection at that point. So I would probably get rid of that. But if it has value, if it's like a serial killer, that stuff has value. I'm not throwing away a Charles Manson autograph.
I collect baseball cards, signed cards, as you've seen on here, and try to collect in complete sets and stuff. I've sent out to Mel Hall. Haven't got anything back yet, but he's locked up and will be there a while.
Right. John Wetland was another one that recently got.
Yeah, he's not in jail yet. He was arrested and he's out, but I don't know. I think they're waiting for more next. I guess a big trial or whatever. But
yeah, see, and that's he's not famous enough for it to be worth money. So like, I would have no problem throwing away all my John Wetland autographs. Like,
well, even if you got them before it happened.
Yeah, I got maybe just out of spite. Like I just like, screw this guy. I don't want this in my collection. Like, but if it's worth a lot of money, I'm not throwing it away. I won't go that far.
Well, even Mel Hall wouldn't be worth a lot of money, but it's that one card I need. It won't be.
Okay, if you're talking about a set, your set's worth money. Like a full set's worth money. So I would probably put that in that category.
Right.
But if I have a random 1992 John Wetland signed card, I might even make a video about it and just like, we'll wait to see if he gets convicted, I guess, whatever. But like, I don't know. That's how I feel. If it's worth money, keep it. If it's not, have fun with it and get rid of it or do whatever you want. John says, what do you think of card groups that are structured with paid subscribers, like Patreon subscribers? Card groups, like people that do breaks and stuff. I mean, I'd say probably the reason they do that is to whittle down the people that cheat them out of money. Because I've seen a lot of those card groups, a lot of people complaining about people not paying for card breaks. I don't know if there's this. See, I'm not in that world, so I don't know exactly how it's set up. But if you're a computer programmer, I'd say if you could develop a system that like put money into an account for a card break, so it was guaranteed, and then I don't know. It seems like there's a hole in the market there that could be filled by somebody that knows what they're doing when it comes to computer programming, like a little app or program that would deal with card breaks a little easier, because I see a lot of problems with it. And I'd say what those private groups are doing by whittling down, okay, you give us $5 a month, you could be in our group, probably makes the card breaks a lot safer, or the box breaks a lot safer. So that's my guess. Okay. Sorry, we're way behind here, guys. Let me catch up. Okay. Al says, I absolutely would as well. John says, it's separating your emotions from your collecting goals. Exactly. Al says, is an OJ auto worth more pre or post murders? Probably post, but he has signed a lot of stuff since post.
Yeah, he pops up quite a bit.
Yeah, you're looking at maybe $60, $70 right now. I don't think his autograph was that high before. But so probably it's more now, but not by much. You think it'd be worth a lot more, but there's a lot of OJs out there.
So what would be worth more, football item or like a naked gun item?
I would say a naked gun item because they're rarer.
Yeah, because I mean it's not
But if you get
football.
like a jersey or something, that's obviously going to be worth a lot.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it's Dave. What's up, Dave? Hey, Dave. Put the name of your live show down in the comments, and we'll talk about it on air. So we'll send some people your way. But he says he never throw away his Mount TTM autograph. That's right. I got mine back there actually. And we actually, guys, we have some swag we're creating right now. We got to send it around to all the guys on the show. But you're going to have the chance to win some multi-signed items from the show coming up very soon. No, not very soon, but here in a couple months. It's got to go around to everybody first. So
Depends on USPS.
yeah, it depends how fast people decide to ship it at. Are you going to buck up for the priority? Well, actually, this has to go priority because it's a big box. Okay, I'll tell you what it is, guys. We have individually signed Topps cards of each broadcaster, and then we also have the 8x10 of the drawing that we have. We have I think I got 20 8x10s. So those are going to be signed by the whole crew. So you'll be able to get those through giveaways and such coming up. So, and then, so Mike says, would you ask someone at the Comic-Con about TTM autographs like John Travolta? I mean, I did that with Henry Winkler. I went up and I didn't ask him about it. I thanked him for signing TTM, and he gave me an awkward look, which is why we need to get him in the case against. I
think we talked about a little bit last podcast that John Travolta is doing a con coming up, and it's by a company that actually comes around here a lot, but they're doing it. I think it's in Boston maybe this time around, but if it was closer, I would definitely do that. I've got a signed photo that like a Pulp Fiction photo that's signed by Uma Thurman, and it's got the John Travolta autograph on it.
Right.
So if it was closer, I would go to that show to get it signed by him, and definitely bring it up at the table. I'd even be willing to wear my my GoPro or something to record it.
Here's the rule, I think, on that. You can't do that while you're in the line, because the celebrities don't want other people knowing that they signed for free. If they are signing autographs through TTM, the last thing you want to do is broadcast that to a bunch of people that are paying money for autographs behind you. Okay. So if you can catch the celebrity kind of off to the side or not around a lot of people, that's the best time to ask. And that's when I brought it up to Henry Winkler. There was nobody really around. It was just me and him. So that's always a good rule of thumb to go by, because they're going to act real awkward if there's a bunch of people wanting to pay, $50 for an autograph, and you're like, thanks for signing for free. And then everybody's like, what? You got people leaving behind you. So the name of Dave's group is House of 1,000 Collectibles, guys. House of 1,000 Collectibles on Facebook. Go check that out. Dave basically, I believe it's auctions office collectibles. And there's some really good deals in there. I've been watching some of his streams. It's really cool. So Dave actually was an old co-host of Autograph Weekly back in the day. It's been 7 years ago. It's a long time ago. It doesn't feel like it that long ago. But Dave was a co-host back then. And we're always happy to promote his stuff. So House of 1,000 Collectibles on Facebook. Go check that out. Okay. John says, I would say post. OJ's a guy who he has a hard time getting his autograph. He must confess. Oh, because of the murder thing. Yeah, he was never convicted though. So you got that to ease your conscience. And Dave says he's asked a few celebrities while meeting them about TTMs, And so far, they've all said yes, it's them signing the items and they enjoy it and prefer the items with a self-addressed envelope. And as everybody knows, Travolta also says that he signs TTM, like he swears. And I think his sister is the one that controls all that stuff, and she swears up and down, which makes me think it's probably his sister signing. But who knows?
I have gotten a few addresses in person. I've made some custom photos and cards and things, and they really liked it. And I was like, "Oh, write down your address, and I can send you some." And of course, now I have their address.
That's another way to get private addresses, guys. Meet the celebrity and ask for the address. It's a little tedious, but it's another way you can do it. Dave says Daniel Harris, Steve Wallace, Scott Wilson, and most of the Walking Dead guys. Yeah, Walking Dead guys signed great there for a while, and then just all hell broke loose, and it's almost impossible to get them any.
They started doing the conventions.
Yep, and they started doing conventions and making money. Yep, it's always the money, which I don't blame them. Mike says he asked Travolta, and he actually told me a few other collectors that his sister handles his fan mail. There you go. So Mike says he talked to Travolta, and he said his sister does it. So I think I saw something about that in a post on a forum once. It might have been you that brought it up, Mike. Do you think larger items get sent quicker through the mail? 8x10 boxes versus 4x6 and cards. I mean, obviously if it goes priority, it's getting there faster, but no, they probably get shipped at the same rate, I would think. I haven't had any differences on wait times. Most of the, you mean like actually getting to the celebrities? Like the celebrities are like, okay, this is a larger package, so I'm going to sign this first compared to all this smaller stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, ask Troy about that and his Vern Troyer.
Yeah, that's right.
I would think that, that bigger might be noticed more. So
right.
But
well, we always talk about the more unique your package is, pardon the pun, the more likely it's going to get signed. So, maybe the size matters, as they say. So, yeah, you might be onto something. You might get signed a little faster if your item's bigger. But I think what's more likely is that the celebrity has a signing day where he just goes through all of his fan mail and gets it all done in one day. And it's probably not going to stand out too much. You might get lucky and it might stand out, but most likely it's going to be in the pile with everything else. James Earl Jones gave me his address and insisted I send to him. He would not sign in person. Really? I don't see him signing many things nowadays through the mail. But and Dave says he met Felicity Rose from Sleepaway Camp and asked her about it, and she gave her home address, and he sent to it and got a bunch of extra stuff. Yeah, guys, we found a whole other way to do private addresses. Ask the celebrity. But I think that's a rarity. Obviously, we talked to Todd Stashwick on the old show, and he said that he absolutely not want any fan mail via his home address. He's like, that's a big no-no. So I think a lot of celebrities feel that way, but some don't. So it's hit or miss. Mike says people have asked for Travolta in person for years. Ask Travolta. Yeah, because that's like one of the biggest names that signs TTM that is suspected secretarial, pretty much guaranteed secretarial, but I can see how you get that question a lot. John, sorry, guys, I'm trying to catch up here. You guys are rolling through like crazy. That's a good thing. John says, how confident are you about getting an authentic return for a celebrity through an agency? I feel better writing to an agency, tell you the truth, because usually an agency takes ages and ages to get back. And I feel better about that. Usually if it's a quick return, there's some suspicion there if they're a larger celebrity. So hello, Casey. Thanks for watching. Long time no see, man. Mike says, what do you think about secretarial personalizations on real autograph photos like Ronda Rousey? Yeah, so that's a unique little item that I haven't seen in a while, actually. I didn't know Rousey did it, but you'll write to a celebrity and they'll have pre-signed photos, and then a secretary will write your name on it. And I think that's probably just to devalue the autograph, so people aren't writing like multiple times, getting a straight up autograph photo. What do you think, Chase?
Expo marker, dry erase marker.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. I've noticed on a lot of them, it's not on a glossy photo. It's
Oh,
on one of those paper photos where you can't actually get the
right. Well,
this is paper. So I noticed that little trick.
an autograph, you know.
A lot of college coaches did that. Do that. If you wrote to back in the day, if you wrote to a bunch of football or basketball coaches, especially via email, they would send you an autograph photo, and maybe 25% of the time it was actually like auto pen or not real, and then like maybe 10% on top of that was real, but you have a secretarial inscription on top. But it was a paper photo, so you couldn't take the signature, take the inscription off, which is clever. You know, it is clever. But then you just cut the signature out and do a matte piece.
Yeah, or it just goes in the file with
In the file. Yep.
collection.
Yep. Mike says it was 10 years ago on the Jones story. Yeah, I went back when he was signing TTM. Probably just a lot easier for him to sign in bulk, you know. But I know he signed there for a while through his plays. I think that was the last time he signed, actually, that I remember. The last time he signed TTM was through his plays. Dave says, what kills them on Star Tiger now is that they'll post the same agency address for a ton of celebs that don't work. Or, yeah, so he stays away from agency addresses unless it's tested. That's a smart move, because Stark's really good at keeping up on that stuff, but like it's not always super accurate because he uses bulk information to mass edit. So you'll see. We talked about this on the last episode how the new way it's done, you get a lot more information on the celebrity pages, but there's some stuff that's wrong, especially with like sports stars and certain teams and stuff. They'll have the wrong team or the wrong place in there, so you're gonna have problems with that. Always, if you're TTMing and you're not wanting to get bold, always go for the tested addresses. I always push that. If you're wanting to get bold and try some stuff and you really want to get a person, try some untested addresses, and at least that knocks them off the list once you're RTS. So Mike says a lot of people are now blending the personalization into their autograph, overlapping, making it harder to get off, and you think they're catching on to the removal. I can still mat that. I can mat a a personalization into signature. That doesn't bother me. But you're probably right. That's probably exactly what they're doing. I've seen a lot of people actually not cross, like you see multi-sign team items, especially flats, and I see a lot of people crossing signatures into another signature. So like the bigger star will, you know, cross signatures into another signature. I think this happens a lot IP, not as much with like paid autographs, obviously.
Yeah, I've seen some current players do that as well. They'll write your name and then their signature will loop up into your name some as well.
Yep. And that keeps you from removing that personalization, obviously. So that's a good catch there too.
Fine tip at dry erase marker.
Do we want to go ahead and move on, guys? I think we've had a full Q&A session here. Thank you guys for asking all those great questions.
And this way Mike gets to join us too. He's still here.
Yeah, exactly. On vacation. We're still putting Mike to work while he's on vacation. Let's move on to Fanatic feedback, which is one last question. We'll still answer your questions if you guys have them throughout the show. But that was our Q&A official segment. So, and Al, who's in chat, asked a question for this show. When addressing an envelope, do you put Mr. or Mrs. before the celebrity name? Also, do you check if it's Miss, which, you know, the different marriage versions of Miss or Mrs. He personally always just does Miss to be safe, but wondering what you all do. Obviously, men are easy because they're all Mr. But yeah, I've done that before. I don't know if it has an effect, but it definitely stands out a little bit. So as we said, we want to do everything with our TTMs to stand out because, you know, that one thing might get the person to be like, all right, I'll sign this one. So that, yeah, being polite is definitely a plus. What about you, Chase? Do you do that?
In my letter, I do. On the
Everybody does it in their letters.
I mean, on the envelope, not always. Just depends on the situation. Another thing that I was having to really research is when I was doing the All American Girls Baseball was on the list of players. It's got their name when they played, but then if they were married, is it the same last name, different last name, hyphenated? So then you got to is it which name goes first type thing, which how do they go by? So there are some nameplate things you have to do.
Yeah, it's always worth adding on there. But like you said, with the women, it's a little complicated because you got to get the right abbreviation. So,
if they were married and now not,
right, what do you put? Right. So that's always a conundrum. I'm going to answer a few more of these Q&A things. Dave says, does that work though in RTS? One person's link will kill the same address on a different person's. That's all up to the discretion of Stark, I believe. What my experience back in the day, I don't know if this is true because I haven't done TTMing in a while, but if you use an untested address and get an RTS, that usually kills the address automatically. Or he goes ahead and kills it. But if it's a tested address and like a positive, with a success, then he won't kill it after one RTS. Obviously, he'll leave it up.
Yeah, I know sometimes he'll send you a message wanting to see it. Like I've had to scan in the envelope.
Oh, really?
A few times, yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
So I've sent it to him, and no, I don't have a problem doing that.
Oh, I forgot we can pin stuff up here, guys. I could have been doing this the whole show. We'll do that. Check that out. And John asked, how much luck did you guys have with, how much luck did I have running publishing companies? Always ask for book plates. If you're doing publishing companies, always ask for book plates. And that was always a really good success rate for me. If you write with photos, you're most likely not going to get anything back. So just write a form letter asking for book plates, and you'll get a decent success rate, or you used to. I don't know how it is now. Maybe they've changed, but yeah. And John says, I put it in the letter, but not in the envelope. Envelope's a good idea. Like, I've done it before. I don't know if it makes a difference, but okay, guys, let's move on to the giveaway winner. Who won the giveaway? Pull up the, you have it with you, Chase?
Yeah, I'm trying. Got it here, but I pulled it up and everything fell out.
We have a Warwick Davis autographed tape of Willow. And I wonder who won this beauty. Well, the answer is Jason May. Congratulations, Jason May. You have won this awesome Willow autographed VHS tape. Very jealous. It's a very cool piece. So we'll get that out to you ASAP. And this episode, we're giving away an Andy Dick certified auto. So if you'd like an Andy Dick certified auto, all you have to do is go to our website, autographersanonymous.com. That's autographersanonymous.com or graphersaa.com. Same place. Click the giveaway link on the right-hand side, enter the giveaway, and answer this question. How many autographs do you own? Real complicated question, I know. We might have actually used this question before, but we're going to do it again. So guesstimate how many autographs you own in your collection. I think we used this question early on in the show. I think we have many more viewers now, so it'll be interesting to see the answers. So how many autographs do you have in your collection? Guesstimate. Don't go through and count every one, people. It's not worth it. Trust me. Just guesstimate. Okay. And answer, and we'll take a look next week and pick a winner to win an Andy Dick certified auto. All right, guys. You know what? We'll take some more questions if you guys want, and if you guys don't have any, we'll go ahead and sign off. So that's why we're going to do this. John said, did you find publishers forward your letter to the author more than not? I didn't find them doing that very often. I found when I sent to a publisher, most of the time I got book plates back. And I think Gene Wilder is the only one I can think that got forwarded. So I would just send a book plate request. Yeah. All right. I'm
I
not seeing
haven't
any
ever
more
sent
questions.
to any authors, so I don't know.
You should. Well, I mean, celebrities, there's celebrity authors.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
all books I have, I've gotten in person at signings.
I feel a little bad doing it now. I run a book business, or part of my business is selling books. So I feel a little bad getting free book plates from publishers.
I go to Half Price Books and I see a lot of there, and I'm like, I wonder if Zane needs these.
Well, it depends. Are they worth money?
I don't know. They're obviously selling them, but not for very much. So,
All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna call it a night. Thanks for watching. You guys did a great job on the questions. I think this worked out really well. Next time we do this format, we will definitely let you guys know a little beforehand. We only gave you guys an hour's advance.
you can come up with some questions.
Yeah, I like the format. I don't know. I think it's kind of fun, especially if we have a bunch of people. Get a bunch of people on here. We'll have like we tonight we had an IPer and TTMer, and then I'm obviously an like an ex TTMer and a dealer, so we can get a lot of different opinions going. Yeah, remember to go to our website, Fanatic Feedback. Send us questions for shows that aren't, taking questions live. That's autographersanonymous.com where you can do that. And promotion time. Chase, promote. Hey, everybody go subscribe to Chase's YouTube channel. Okay.
That'd be nice.
So go to YouTube, go to our website, and Chase's link. You'll see his mustache picture down on the right-hand side. Click Chase's YouTube link and subscribe to him. Chase makes some great videos along with some great Q&A, some old Q&A letters.
Every Wednesday, I send off, I don't send them off Wednesday. I post it Wednesday of the Q&As that I have. I've got a little 10-question Q&A that I send off to different celebrities and baseball, football, anything really. And
right.
I get them back and some interesting answers. I'll just put it that way on some of them.
Definitely. Yeah, you guys need to check that out. So go subscribe to Chase. That's what we're pushing today, guys. Autographersanonymous.com. Click his little link down below. And then for me, Bargain History on eBay and Fabric Fobs on Etsy. And that's it. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching live on Facebook. We might be back on Twitch. We might do Facebook again. I don't know. We'll see. Facebook seems to be working out a little bit better. But we shall see, guys. We'll let you guys know. Hopefully a little quicker than an hour's notice. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. And you take care, all of you autograph addicts.